So, very good evening to one and all present here. So, in yesterday's lecture, we saw about the basic importance of vernier caliper under linear measuring instrument. Now, today we are going to see about vernier height gauge. So, this is also one among the type of linear measuring instrument. The further modification of basic vernier caliper precision measuring device. So how the vernier height gauge will look like. So let us have the physical illustrative explanation. So this is the so-called the detailed layout of the vernier height gauge. It has a strong rigid base block support made of cast iron material and has a long vertical beam which is permanently fixed to the base block support. And a sliding scale, we call that as a vernier scale. The sliding scale is termed as a vernier scale that is connected in align with the main scale reading. And along with the vernier scale, there are two measuring jaws. One is the upper face and the lower face. These two are parallel, facing opposite to each other in order to measure the height of the specimen. And as a scriber at the end, okay, the scriber is used for marking the surface height from the datum point. And there are two adjustable screws, fine adjustment screws that are connected by the side of the vernier scale. So by using this adjustable screw, so we can able to coincide both the main scale reading and vernier scale reading very promptly, okay, for height measurement purpose. Now let us see the standard operating procedure for the vernier height gauge. So the very first thing, take the surface plate, okay, so clean the surface plate neatly. There should not be any stain marks found on the surface plate, okay, so it has to be clean with the cloth. Then mount the vernier height gauge on the surface plate. Check the level of flatness between the lower surface of the instrument and also the surface plate, the top surface of the surface plate. Then place the workpiece material, the specimen or a job in which you are going to examine the measurement, say height of a job, okay. Keep the scriber over or either under the surface of the job. So we must have a grip, strong grip at one point of the job. Okay, then measure the distance between the two adjacent edge of the specimen by taking datum as a reference plane. Okay, note down the main scale reading by observing the vertical beam. That one we call it as a main scale reading. So you can view in the diagram, this vertical beam we call as a main scale reading. So observe the main scale reading, check whether the vernier 0 coincides with which division on the main scale. So note down the main scale reading very accurately and check for the vernier coincidence, okay, along with the main scale division, and multiply the vernier scale coincidence with the least count 0.02 mm. Okay, so we can able to find out the total reading of a given specimen by summing up the main scale reading and the vernier scale reading, both the values. Okay. So in addition to that, here there are certain the material, the list of materials that are given uh, for the vernier height gauge. So basically the vernier height gauge is made up of hardened heat treated stainless steel material which is cold worked under very lower room temperature by heat treating the steel alloy. See, the hardness of the stainless steel alloy varies from 650 to 700 Vickers hardness. V stands for Vickers hardness scale. Okay, so very high hardness up to 700 we can able to maintain. So due to such high quality of hardened stainless steel, so we can able to maintain a proper fit between the surface hardness and also the uh, we can provide a strong resistive surface by improving the shell thickness of the shell thickness of the material by having high hardness number. Okay, we can also test the instrument, the surface by dropping the acid or any other chemical. So it is very highly resistive to corrosion, highly hardened, the stainless steel material. Okay, so and the parts, as I've already told you in the below figure, so which you can refer in figure 2.1 as given below. At the same time, I also shared the laboratory video in your class group. You can please verify. So any further the queries in future classes, so you can just ask me directly. So with this, I thank everyone for your patience listening. So we will meet soon in another next video on micrometer vernier depth gauge. So thank you one and all.